Hey, this is Needle7 here. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to be taking a look at Pokemon, the card game online. And this is a pretty fun game. Uh, I've been playing Pokemon since I was in sixth grade, so the beginning of middle school. What's that, like age 10, 11, somewhere around there. I was totally obsessed with Pokemon. I played one or two of the video games. I really enjoy those. I think the battle systems in the video games are way more in depth. The charts, the matrices, the strength types, the physical attacks versus non-physical attack, building a team. There's so much more depth in the video games, in my opinion. But the trading card game is also pretty fun. Um, it is very expensive though, and so playing it online where you don't actually have to spend any money on it is a great way to go. To those of you who have never looked at the app before, this is what it looks like. I've downloaded the Windows application here, but for the most part, I was playing it on my phone on an Android device. So let's just dive right in. Uh, Once you're logged in, you have daily challenges, and you complete those challenges for extra coins, or you can um, get daily gifts, or you can get prizes for beating people. So these are the current three challenges I have right here. Pixie Punch, I have to deal 750 damages with a Pixie. Um, with the Fairy type Pokemons, uh, knock out 12 Pokemon with a Psychic type Pokemon, and put 7 Fire Evolution cards into play. So this is definitely my easiest challenge right here, the Fire one, then the Psychic one, and then the Fairy one is most definitely the hardest because pretty much all of the Fairy decks are bad. Very, very, very bad. And they're hard to play with. So you get a prize for signing in once a day. And I'm just getting a booster pack this time around. And then you can jump straight into playing. Right now I've got a sizable amount of tokens. It takes 500 to buy a deck. And I think 1 or 200 to buy a booster pack. But kind of deck battles, in my opinion, is where it's at. Um, there's the trainer challenge where you can learn how to play against the computer. You'd start out with the gold, platinum, and then city, and you could use any of the decks that you've either made or that you've bought. The problem is that there is absolutely no balance when you go into making your own decks. So there's standard, expanded, and legacy type rule sets that you can use when building these decks. And I played in expanded and standard, and just the sheer amount of knowledge that you need to play in these is overwhelming. Not to say that it's not possible, but you have to have been playing this for a long time to collect all of the really, really cheap cards that you can use. And use those and have a lot of EX and GX type Pokemon. The theme deck, even though I say it's extremely unbalanced, it does have a lot more balance because you have to use one of these standard existing decks. Dropping in here, you can buy themed decks. You can see the latest Sword Shield decks out here. And then as you scroll down right now, I've got them sorted by newest. And what I've noticed is the older these decks get, the less coordinated they are and the less strong they are. Right now, in my opinion, the um, you've got this laser focus deck here. It's extremely strong, extremely top tier. This Blastoise deck, it's awesome. This Charizard deck, it's practically unbeatable. Um, Then there's a Dragonair deck somewhere in here that's also really good, right there. And then these new 3 Sword and Shield decks are actually pretty good. For a lot of the time, they can stand up against those 2 or 3 top tier decks, but in my opinion, they're still they're 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 not the highest tier. They are good though. They are usable. And the fairy deck is somewhere down here at the bottom. And there's only 1 or 2 that actually have fairy Pokemon in there. So that's the struggle that we're going to be fighting today, is using a fairy deck to try and win. Enchanted Echo. So the fairy Pokemon that can actually deal any sort of damage in there is the Sylveon Pokemon. And what that Pokemon can do is 50 damage, and then an additional 100 damage on the next turn with Echoed Voice. So we're gonna jump right in, and to be honest, I'm not gonna actually, I mean, I'll do my best to win, but my goal here is to deal as much fairy damage as possible to complete that goal, rather than to actually win this battle. Depending on who we're fighting, if we fight against somebody with an older deck, we may stand a half a chance. Alright, so that's not one of the highest tier decks, it's still a very strong deck. They definitely have an advantage over me just going in here with the cards they're using. I would definitely love to go first. So, I'm gonna throw the Eevee out first. And I really only would want to put 1 starter out there anyway. Here we go. Alright, so I don't have a very good hand here because I'm trying to deal fairy damage and I've only got a grass energy. These split energy decks are a pain. So I will attach a grass energy to Eevee. It's going to ask me if I want to evolve it, which is Eevee's special power right here. I'm going to say no, because I wanted to evolve into Sylveon, which I do have in my hand already. That's all I can do on my first turn. First person doesn't get to attack the first round. Hopefully I can draw a fairy energy and be on my way to actually using an attack. It doesn't seem like he's drawn a good amount of Pokemon to use, but he did get the Timer Ball, so he's going to start his evolution chain going here on Torchic, Combustican, Blaziken. So he's got his full evolution chain in his hand. And I just lost my Pokemon. And I've got no energy cards. So, in order to focus on doing fairy damage, we're going to throw that in there. We can evolve Summon. Don't show this again. And I don't have any energy. I could have done 60, which would have almost killed him, but my mistake, I was focusing on not winning, but rather focusing on doing fairy damage. Alright, Smearful. With the coin, it pales, this does nothing. Energy switch. I could actually deal some damage here. 20 damage if I switch energy. So frustrating not having any energy to use. So... he's saving that Blaziken in his hand. I don't know if he's trying to lull me into a false sense of security. But I saw him draw it, so there's really no point. how do I get out of this? We can drag to move it around. Let's get press H to hide it. Alright, got that out the way so you can see he's got 33 cards left and 7 in his discard pile. And I once again have no energy. At this point, he should be switching out for his fire type. Pay the retreat cost, send in one of these fire types, and do double the damage, so I'm weak against fire attacks. So he's got 2 quick kills there that I really can't do anything about, and then a 3rd quick kill. Unless I draw a card next turn to save my life, that's pretty much the end of the battle there. Energy, Moonlight, I can heal 30 damage from this Pokemon but deal 0. Clefairy's dead, and then Bellsprout is dead. So, since I've lost this battle, I'm going to concede it. And not only did I lose it, I had no meaningful way of dealing any sort of fairy damage that battle. So that was a complete failure. No fairy damage done. Let's jump straight into another match. Oh, I love that Mewtwo deck. It is absolutely awful. It is, I don't know which one's worse, the deck that I'm using or his deck. So it's really up to luck who wins, but I have a good chance of dealing some fairy damage. I'm gonna throw Shroomish out first, because I don't have any fairy energy cards. I might regret that in a minute. Now, I threw down all of my basic Pokemon, and typically I would not want to do that. I'd want to only throw down 1 or maybe 2, but I'm not playing very careful right now. The reason why I'd want to keep that hidden is I wouldn't want him to know, because at max he knows right now I only have 3 energy cards that I can use. Right now I have no idea how many of these in his hands are Pokemon or trainer cards, energy, and so I know that he has a lot of resources, and he knows that I have a few resources here as far as being able to pull any tricks out of my hat. So if what would have been more strategic was to keep 1 or 2 of these basic Pokemon that I don't plan on using right away, keep them in my hand just as padding. And it looks like he's just standing there thinking. He can do a maximum of 20 damage to me right now. But he's focusing on his evolution right here, because he threw down an energy that won't allow him to actually do anything. Vigoroth evolves. I'm going to give him some grass energy, and I'm going to hold on to this last energy just in case Eevee needs it later, and might as well do my 10 damage and move on. The Shroomish is a total trash Pokemon in this deck. We don't have anything that he evolves into. He can only do 10 damage, and so he's really just padding to soak up some damage and then throw away later, or maybe go back to my bench. If I can help it, I'll let him retreat so he doesn't die once he's soaked up close to 60 damage. So right now, 1, 2, 3. I can switch him out. Instead of doing 10 damage a turn, I can do 20 damage a turn. So let's use the retreat. energy on, we're threatening that Reckless Charge for 70 damage. And let's use our Scratch. Still no Fairy Energy to evolve Eevee. If I attach a Fairy Energy to Eevee, it'll automatically evolve. Bellsprout. Man, I've got no energy again. This deck. The wrong type of energy and no energy. These split energy decks, they're a gamble. It really depends on what hand you draw. He's right now got a pretty sweet hand with a Hitmonchan almost ready. He's looking strong. I draw energy and I can deal some damage with a Reckless Charge. But again, this is not fairy damage. It's not what I'm going for at all. Another useless Pokemon. Bellsprout is actually the least useless one of these. If I can call it quite small. Trash. It looks like he definitely got the luckier hand than me this time. Alright, I've got my evolution started here. I can use an attack with Curly Ribbon, which messes with his energy distribution. Let's see. That may be useful. I could throw that Psychic Energy over to one of his fighting Pokemon and make it useless. But either way, I need to throw in some padding, some patter Pokemon to die for me, to use up some time to maybe draw an energy. Once he draws all 6 of his prize cards, right now he's drawn 1 of them and I've drawn 1 of them, so we each have 5 prize cards to go. You draw a prize card when you kill an enemy. If you use up all your prize cards, you win. Dang. So I'm gonna take a gamble here and say he doesn't have a fighting energy. Throw my other Eevee out, and still no extra energy to use. So gonna use a Curly Ribbon attack. And we're going to move one of these fighting energies over. Choose an energy card. And we're going to move it to one that doesn't necessarily need fighting energy. And hopefully we can mess up that attack, which we could not. And that was my gamble. And it didn't pay off. With no energy, unless I get some sort of trainer card that lets me draw energy, he can easily wipe out another one down to 2, and then I don't have time to charge these up, so once again, I've lost. So, playing with this fairy deck, you can see how extremely frustrating it is. But hey, I got 30 out of 700 damage. It's very disheartening to play. So, let's switch over to that fire deck, and you can see the difference between one of the worst decks that you can pick from, and this is, in my opinion, the best deck that you can pick from. And the ability for this Relentless Flame deck to draw energy is just amazing. And you can see you very frequently play against people that are using this deck because it's amazing. Everything's extremely well coordinated, and there's really only one junk Pokemon in the deck. Ponyta and Rapidash are extremely useful because they stall. My opponent had no basic Pokemon, so I get an extra. Starting with Ponyta is an excellent choice because Rapidash here I already have in my hand. And agility gives me a 50% chance of preventing damage done to me. Draw new hand, yes. Farfetch'd is a good Pokemon for drawing 2 cards, and for soaking up some damage if you need to stall a little bit longer. So there's no harm with having 1 Farfetch'd on my deck. Fan Club, I'll be able to play my first turn. He decided to go first, which is a good move for this deck. So what we really need here is those 2. I've already got a Pony out. The Nidoran out. Nidoran is awesome because it will eventually be able to evolve it into Nidoqueen, which allows you to draw any Pokemon from your deck whenever you want, once a turn. And so that's our highest priority right here, is focusing on that. Meantime, we'll attach an energy to our Pony. We can't evolve it on our first turn, and so we'll just move along. 1 attack and damage. He may already have the evolution card here, which allows him to do 60 damage to me, which pretty much almost uses up my entire health. Oh, and he's got the Professor, so he just burns through my first Pony and wastes 1 of my energy wasted. Farfetch'd. Luckily he threw a Tails, so I could damage him this turn. Let's go ahead and draw some evolution cards. Pokemon Fan Club. We'll need another one of these. Maybe we have a Pony in here. There we go. And I don't have any energy, so he's just going to soak up some damage from me. Dang it. This is actually a really unlucky hand. You at least get some trainer card or something. Hopefully I'll draw a trainer card at the next turn or 2 to kind of get my momentum going a little bit. But if not, I kind of just have to do that 1 card turn. And he prevents all damage to him next turn. Alright. So, since I've got no trainer cards, and no hope of anything coming down the line soon as far as cards go, maybe I'll draw an energy next turn and be able to use Rapidash to stall a little bit, like he's doing. He's got the Nidoqueen though, so he's gonna start pulling in his struck Pokemon. If I don't make a comeback pretty soon, I'll have lost this really quick. So at least you get to see how strong this deck is, even if it's not from my point of view. You can see him. Once he gets the Charizard in there, he's just able to just tear through energy. I don't know if I'm going to get energy this turn. And I'm not, so I had to burn another Pokemon. And there's really nothing I can do except wait another turn. The odds of me getting energy is about 50%. Maybe a little bit less than 50% on each card draw. I could draw a trainer that would give me the chance to draw some more cards, switch out my existing cards, so maybe it does bump it up about to 50% chance of getting energy next turn, especially since I've used a lot of basic Pokemon out of the deck. It should have increased my odds a good amount. Brock's Grit, crap. So this is an excellent card. And since you use so much energy in this deck, it allows you to put 6 cards, but Pokemon and energy back into your deck, which is useless to me this particular turn. So that's 2 turns in a row where I've completely struck out. because I've got the switch card in my hand, I was able to gamble by... I'd not have to gamble. I would have had to throw my Rapidash out if it wasn't this in my hand, but now I was able to draw that energy, and hopefully if I flip a heads, I can stall for some time. As many heads as I can flip will allow me to stall because it prevents all damage to me the next turn. So now we're in a stall sort of strategy while I catch up on evolution. If I can get a Charizard and a Nidoqueen, or hopefully the Nidoqueen first, and then I can start threatening him back a little bit. He flipped tails, so I got some luck on my side there. I've got a Charizard, which you can see his special ability is to take 20 damage, and then he's able to use this attack, which with 2 fire attached to him that he's gotten for taking 20 damage, he can do 130 damage, which pretty much wipes out everything. And I threw a Tails, which is really unfortunate for me because he can retreat that Rapidash right now instead of letting it die and just demolish it with his Charizard. And now you see why this Brock script card is important, not at the beginning of the game, but near the end of the game. It allows you to recycle energy, because every time you use Charizard, it burns through 2 energy. I have no choice but to throw mine out there. I really don't want to use Brock scripts right now, even though I could use a Pony Pokemon back in my deck, but I have no way to retrieve it right now without my Nidoqueen. So I just have to hope for the best, use Roaring Resolve, take the 20 damage. Hopefully he doesn't have the switch card in him, and I deal 130 damage to him. Now he won't be able to use Roaring Resolve, so without killing his Charizard. So that, but he has a switch card, and that's pretty much game, set, and match going to him. My focus for this game was to do fire card evolutions though, and I think I've gotten 3 or maybe 3 of them so far. Gotta throw out a Pokemon to burn, and fire. I really have no choice here. He's going to demolish me next turn, so I'm out of here. He's only got 1 problem left. So this has been a day full of losses. Damage dealt. Alright. But I was able to work towards that fire Pokemon. We will take a look at the Psychic deck, since that's the one that I haven't shown off today. It is a high tier, really strong deck. It can fight against the Charizard deck pretty well. It really depends on who's got more luck. He's using his Cinderace deck. I always flip tails. Always go first if I have a choice. And I ended up with a pretty solid hand this first time around. Because this first contact allows me to draw 3 basic Pokemon and put it on my deck. And this card is able to draw energy out of the discard pile. This I can sacrifice an energy into the discard pile to draw Pokemon that I want. So I'm able to get a lot of cards moving quickly. No harm in throwing an extra Pokemon onto my bench so I don't lose by default. So start off, I sacrifice an energy card, And I want to, for sure, draw one of these guys to get started. Throw him onto my deck, and use my first Oh, dang it, it's my first turn. Oh well. It may be useful next turn, if he doesn't kill me before then. But that would have been, if I get the Inkay on my bench, that would have been awesome. We'll take my 3 cards first. Audino is awesome to have on your deck. And no. And I will use the first contact move this turn. 3 basic Pokemon, and I really just need Inkay. This will allow me to put Malamar down and then start powering up my Necrozma, which is basically the highlight of this deck. And use Cynthia, switch out my deck. See, decks like this give you lots of options to getting cards. I put that on Audino since the ability only works while they're the active Pokemon, but this makes them able to be retreated for free. So they use the Psychic Recharge. And then just start dealing some damage. Not a whole lot here, but at least I'm getting it moving. Cinderace is pretty strong. That Bright Flame for 160 is devastating. However, they have the chance to discard energy, which is supposed to sort of balance it out. Alright, add the energy there. There's nothing else I can really do. I'd rather swap all of these out than draw an additional 2. Oh, let's do the 2 cards first and then swap them out next turn. 2. Very nice. And Mumble again, 20 points. I wish I could use that attack in real life. And odds are I'm gonna get an energy back anyway, so I'm just gonna swap these out and see what I get. I was hoping for a special type energy, but I'm not gonna get that. So I better start prepping Savali for use. I don't want to throw this right out to get hammered by a Cinderace. I want to hammer his Cinderace with it. So this is a Mario Kart thing where being in second place is the ideal situation when they've got something strong sitting on their bench. Alright, 3 additional cards. Dang it, no special energy, so I'll keep powering up Savali, which is almost ready. And he's just letting me do free damage, so I will continue to do free damage. Anytime one of my Pokemon die, I'm gonna throw out Arduino to get a free card with my Healing ability, then swap them out for what I really want to do. Alright, Savali's ready to go. A catcher to hopefully draw some cards. Yeah. And I got my special energy, so I am actually totally set here for what I need to do. Should I switch it out and take the kill? 160. He's gonna kill Savali, and then I could kill his. Let's go for it. Retreat. Bring in Savali. and do an air slash for 120. And yeah, I do throw energy away, but I like throwing energy away because I get it right back for free. He's going to destroy me. I will take a free card and then hopefully destroy him. We'll see if he puts any basic Pokemon on the bench. You lose the match if you die without any basic Pokemon. Alright, so Alright, so we use our ability to draw that extra card. Use his ability to charge someone up. We're gonna start charging Malamar up. And Bugcatcher. See if there's any cards that we can use to speed this along. Not really. Maybe, yeah, throwaway card there. Get this guy started on a second round. You know, I should have saved my Psychic Recharge ability for him, but hopefully I won't lose too much time there. Alright, retreat for free. Bring him out. Do 160 damage because I have. So we did a lot of psychic damage there, so we're moving towards our daily goal. Totally got creamed there. We throw out Arduino again once he decides what prize card he wants. We use our energy to charge up Necrophilia, Necrozoma, and we move on from there. Psychic Recharge. Hearing. Pull him in, send him out, do a barrier attack on 30, and that's the match. So, finally 1-1. That deck really coordinates well with me. And I wish you could have seen the charge that deck coordinate that way, but it's just as good. That's it for today. Thank you for watching me play Pokemon the card game. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you around next time.